Thanks for joining me on the 249 Marathon Project Week 14 update. In this video, I'll go through all of the Week 14 training sessions. I'll go through all the metrics, and most importantly, I'll go through the status of the Valencia Marathon. If you enjoy this content, I would greatly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a little something that you can do to help me out. Maybe put this in front of a few more people and hold me just a little bit more accountable, and possibly make it just that little bit more achievable. Generally speaking, week 14 was very good, and ultimately the best thing about week 14 was on Friday we got an email from the organizers of the Valencia Marathon, and they've given us the thumbs up to go ahead with the event. So it's kind of like the clouds clearing. It was a big question mark for everybody involved. And now that we know it's going forward, we can really focus 100% on the next 2 weeks and give it a really good rattle. So ultimately, it's on for a number of different reasons. So we're going to run the Valencia Marathon for Valencia. The people of Valencia and the surrounding communities were absolutely devastated by the floods. The organizers of the Valencia Marathon are donating €3 for every finisher on the course. So that'll bring in a vast amount of money. The participants coming along with that many runners and family members and supporters and what have you will really bring an influx of cash and money into the local area. So it's bound to be helpful. You know, a big event like this is a morale booster for everyone. So hopefully this goes even just a small way to help start the healing process up in Valencia. And we're all privileged to be playing a tiny role in that. So yes, it's a really positive thing. It's going forward. For those of us that have been training for it for the last 14 weeks, it's a real boost, especially for those of us that did not have a plan B. Fortunate that all of my hard work can now go to the initial goal, which was a 249 marathon in Valencia. The training sessions. Monday was a rest day. Okay, coming off a 22 miler on Sunday of week 13, rest day, really needed. It has set me up for Tuesday's hard session. So it felt good having that day off. Tuesday was my benchmarking session that I use in week 2. And then I compare that in week 14, and just to look at progress through the 14 weeks of training. So it was a big boost for me, having come through different issues. As you know, if you've been following, I had a few issues along the way. Everything is starting to click, and the session on Tuesday was just spot on. The splits will be in the blog post, and I will put a link in the description. But I was roughly about 15 seconds per kilometer faster on Tuesday of week 14 than I was in week 2. So that's a real good, positive session. And if we look and compare that to where I was in Manchester, I was only 1 second difference. I was 1 second slower in this training session than I was the same week on the same day in Manchester training. So there's a number of different reasons that could be, but for me, that's as good. It's a real indicator that I am in as good a shape as I was for Manchester. The difference between Valencia and Manchester is I've addressed the speed endurance issues that I had in Manchester, and I should, all going well, be able to run Valencia faster than I did in Manchester. So it's a really good sign. Tuesday was absolutely superb. Wednesday was a 20 miler, easy effort. It was it was grand. I got out a little bit late and got finished just before it got dark. It ended up being about 18.8 miles. So just shy of the 20 miles. I think I did get 31, almost 32K. So yeah, it was good. It was close enough. Thursday was another rest day. Again, two harder sessions in the previous 2 days and a couple of steady efforts coming up. Rest day was exactly what I needed, and it did the job for me. Friday was a 10K 6 miler at a steady effort, and this was another really positive session. This one, my steady effort was 657 or 419 per K. That's another very good indicator of my current fitness level. I'm pleased with that. Generally, I'm about a 710, maybe even 715 for steady effort. So to be under the 7 minute mile is another confidence boosting, positive outcome. And so I'm pleased with that. On Saturday, I was actually out helping a neighbor harvest his olives. So I got out for my 10K a little bit late. And I ran an easy effort this time at a 737 pace. And for me, 737 easy effort, that's another really good indication that my fitness is pretty much spot on. I'm very pleased. I'm happy with where I am at the minute. Sunday was a 24 miler. And as I mentioned in the week 14 sessions video, I was going to throw in a few pacier miles, but wasn't really going to focus too much on that. That wasn't the objective. The objective was to get 24 miles and more of a race day rehearsal as far as nutrition and hydration and that kind of thing. Very good session. The pace on Sunday was 7:58 per mile or 4:57 per K. Easy, relatively easy session, plenty of good miles. Yeah, felt very good. All right, for strength and conditioning, I missed a day. I did 4 of my 5 days, and for yoga, I only got one 20-minute yoga session in. So not a particularly great week for strength and conditioning. I didn't get a sports massage either. I'm going to hope to get one this week in week 15, and I will focus more on getting my daily routine of strength work and yoga in. Now let's go into the metrics. Let's start with body weight. Body weight, I was down a slight bit, 1.2 pounds to 154.2. I'm currently sitting at 69.9 kilos. I'd like to be lower, and I will focus now over the next 2 weeks to try to be around 149, roughly where I was in London 2023, where I weighed in at 148 and I ran 256. My average daily resting heart rate was 41 beats per minute, no change from week 13. My average daily HRV was 99.6. That was wildly up and down. So as high as 134 and as low as 77. I just don't know. Like I say, I keep telling you, I keep taking the measurement daily, once a day. Probably not either enough or it's just not accurate. As far as sleep goes, I had 7 hours and 3 minutes per night. Spot on for me. I had some nights with less, some with more. We had some company this week. We love having company, but at the minute it does disrupt my routine. So 7 hours, 3 minutes is grand. It's perfect. As far as nutrition goes, I averaged 109 grams of protein, a little on the low side. Over the next couple of weeks, that focus will be more towards carbs. I would like to still be getting 120 to 130 grams of protein, but more of a focus on carbs, where in the previous 13 weeks it would have been, if I was disciplined enough, it would have been a little bit more protein and slightly less carbs, but that is shifting. As far as daily hydration, I average 3 liters of water per day. As far as weekly volume goes, I had just under 103 kilometers, or just under 64 miles for the week. That's a little bit down from week 13, but week 13 was a higher volume week. Now I'm into these last 2 weeks. My taper begins on Thursday, so I have a few more tough sessions to go, but for the most part, the work is mostly all done. I'm really looking forward to getting to Valencia on the 1st of December. It's all go. This is all about the people of Valencia at this point. And yeah, for anyone else who's going to run Valencia, I hope to see you there, and I hope to see you in great shape. Anyone who's running somewhere else, or maybe you're just following along, have a brilliant week of running, and I will see you on Friday with the week 16 training sessions. Hard to believe. See you soon.